Boy was just walking in the rain when he was almost hit by a book that fell from the sky. But when he looks around, he realizes that all the raindrops around him are hiding from the book. Curious, he immediately picked up the book and read it, labeling it as a book that says whoever's name is written in it will die. The boy thought it was a schoolboy's prank and wrote down the name of a murderer in the news. But he didn't realize that the next day when he looked at the newspaper, the murderer had indeed died of a heart attack. He was shocked. In order to verify his own guess, the boy intentionally found the yellow hair once bullied him, full of panic, to write down the name of the other side. Unexpectedly, just a few seconds later, yellow hair covered his chest and died. The boy rushed forward to confirm the book and had a bold idea in his mind. He decided to use the book to execute the criminals who were on the loose. As a result, within half a month, nearly 1,000 criminals died suddenly. This strange phenomenon soon attracted the attention of the police, immediately invited the world-renowned detective to investigate the case. The sleuth confidently launched a live broadcast and swore to the people that he would catch the murderer, but the next moment he died of heart paralysis on the spot. It turns out that the boy also saw the news and chose to strike first, but he didn't realize that this was a trap set by the police. Just as the boy was indulging in the thrill of killing, a threatening voice suddenly came from the TV. Every time the boy went to school, he would insert a long steel pin into the hinge of his door. But when he came home from school that day, he found the pin broken in two and realized instantly that someone had been in his house. As soon as he pushed open the door, he realized that the house was covered with security cameras and a group of police officers were staring at him from behind the screen. In order to cover up the secret of the murder, Jesse every day except sitting at the table is to eat and sleep did not expect the police froze a few weeks of surveillance but never found the slightest flaws. It turned out that Jesse had a death note in his hand. As long as the name of the person he wanted to kill was written on it, no matter where the target was, it was hard to escape the fate of a violent heart death. But just when the police were about to rule him out, there was another report of an accidental death on TV. But as Jesse was concentrating on his studies, the police could only stop for the time being. But they didn't realize that it was all just a cover for Jesse's eyes. He used a bag of potato chips as a cover to hide his cell phone from surveillance and then wrote down the name of the culprit, thus creating this accidental tragedy without a trace. But just when Jesse thought the plan was perfect, he got a call from a woman. It turned out that the woman's husband was a police officer who was killed during the investigation of Jesse. So she was convinced that Jesse was the murderer. In order to prove it to the police, she kidnapped Jesse's girlfriend and lured him to a museum full of surveillance cameras. She used her life as a threat to force Jesse to write his name on the death note or else she would shoot her dead. It turns out the woman wanted to sacrifice herself to reveal the truth. But Jesse not only did not show the slightest hint of weakness, but also pretended to be innocent. At that moment, a large number of police officers surrounded the scene. When the woman heard the sirens, she was instantly distracted, and her girlfriend, who had been abducted, took the opportunity to break free and desperately ran in the direction of Jesse. Unexpectedly, the woman pulled out a pistol, not realizing that she had fallen right into Jesse's trap. Unexpectedly, the woman completely lost her mind and pulled the trigger. Seeing his girlfriend shot to the ground, Jesse was in agony and the woman who shot him was frozen in place. She was trying to scare the other woman, but she didn't realize that she had shot someone. A large number of police officers swarmed to the area and shot the woman. With the woman in a pool of blood, Jesse's heart finally dropped because it was all a plot he had planned. He had anticipated that the woman would retaliate against him, so he had inquired about her personal information in advance and made up a script in his death note, which stated that the woman would hijack her girlfriend and eventually end her life in death. Because the woman's husband said his name to her before he died and Jesse overheard it, so Jesse gave up his girlfriend's life to gain the police's sympathy and used the woman's hand to get rid of his own identity as a murderer. Afterwards, Jesse approached the commissioner and applied to join the investigation team to help them catch the murderer. However, when the director hesitated, a top detective suddenly appeared. He took out a bag of potato chips from behind his back and ate it with a flirtatious face in front of Jesse. When Jesse saw it, he felt bad because this bag of potato chips was the key evidence that he was trying to avoid police surveillance to make the murderer in the air. Eventually, the two men looked at each other in disbelief and a heated exchange of words was inevitable.